Hello, everyone, and welcome back to JaianMusic Notes. I am so excited. We're back with Mike HG. On the last episode, we started our breakdown of Anthems Volume 4, an album that him and I collaborated on that we put out just a few months ago. It's not been that long since the release of the album. JaianMusic Notes is a podcast where we talk about anime music. We do solo breakdowns myself, just talking about my songs, breaking them down, and I do guest episodes where I break down the music of certain anime series and movies. Today is very special because I have a guest that I did a full album with that I'm breaking down this album together. Mike, for people who may not have listened to the first episode, which they need to, kind of basically briefly introduce like a little bit of who you are, and then we'll get it going.
My Mike, I am a musician, composer. I enjoy doing this, performing music live and making music,
that's
scoring
your
music
thing for sure, dude.
I love everything. So yeah, that's me.
Amazing. As I crack my neck, of course. I also want to do a quick reminder that this podcast is sponsored by Laser Audio Technologies. They make creative effects plugins, and if you use code JaianMusic at checkout, you get 25% off. And every dollar generated from the code goes back into the podcast, such as GoPro Kyo, who does all of the artwork for JaianMusic Notes. All of those links are in the description.
Yeah, please go by.
Please. Thank you. I appreciate that. On the last episode, we discussed the first 5 songs of Anthems Volume 4, this 9-track album. So we got 4 more to chug along here. And I'm really excited for this next song that we're going to be introducing you to. Obviously, this album is linked in the description. I cannot play the music of this album on the podcast because, well, I don't own the compositional material. Which, by the way, before we get into this song, when I originally created JaianMusic Notes, I was like, yo, I'm just going to use all this cover music in the podcast because, like, it's my covers. And, like, I was maybe a few weeks into, like, creating the podcast, and I realized, like, I don't have to copyright these covers. Like, I didn't make the melody of these, so I had to reformat the whole show. But nonetheless, I really encourage viewers of this and listeners of this podcast to go check out the songs in the description. Okay. The next one we're talking about is Spinning Globe from Boy in the Heron. It's the only Studio Ghibli track on the album. You know you gotta have at least one Studio Ghibli track. We can listen to it.
I remember that one.
Yes. Boy in the Heron is an anime that I really, really enjoyed watching. But I covered the song before even listening to this film. And in the last episode I referred to The World being the song that I kind of added in last minute. I remember now, it's this song. A halftime, very slowed down, very relaxed, very ambient version of Boy in the Heron. What were your thoughts when you first heard this song? Because this was definitely more one that I did in my court of things.
Actually, it was great. Once again, as I mentioned in the previous episode, I never listened to the actual ones, not to to get, how can I say that? Not to be influenced by the original, because that happens. So now for me, it was great. And for this one, on the contrary of I said before, this one with some brass would have been great. Just soft trumpet in the back, or not even for a flugelhorn. That would have been like, oh yes. And but once again, this still follows the same idea, ambient. This is what we wanted them. It's perfect. It's a soft ballad. You also said before that the idea at the beginning was ballads. Well, maybe The World was the exception because, of course, we're going metal there, but this one was like,
yeah, but you turn something metal into a ballad, people go like, what are you doing?
But you can.
It's a head turner, exactly. And when you hit it, it's a head bobber.
Exactly. Well, I never said it was a bad idea. It was a great one.
I'm just saying the thought of it, right?
Exactly. So yeah, this one is also soft and so Ghibli at the same time. Like, yeah.
It's a very soft track. It's a very simple track as well. It's only the one instrument. And what I really like about halftime covers, I've talked a lot about this in different solo episodes, is I really get to play with time-based effects a lot more because the notes linger longer.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, what I did was just play with the random notation, kind of see where it was going and everything, and really enjoyed like just making it weird because of that, making it bizarre, bringing it to a place that's unusual, and that's what I really like about it. Like here, very simple, very not a head scratcher, but very fun nonetheless. Okay. This next one, I'm so happy I covered and put in this album. Do you know what anime this one is from?
Nope. I'm sorry for all the anime fans there. Here and there.
It's okay. This is from Naruto.
Okay.
It's from Naruto. Once again, this one is kind of like what I was saying with the boy in the air and spinning globe. That halftime was like the name of the game for the second half of the album, slowing it down, taking it to where we want to take it. But you influenced me in the sense that I decided to be much less synthetic, electronic, composer, artist about it, and bring it to a place of orchestral. You listen to it, there's the piano leads here. Yeah, the piano brings it together. What were your thoughts on this?
Well, once again, the piano is a magic instrument. Like you can do everything you want with it, and so yeah, it was just necessary to get the piano. Like that was perfect, just like that. And once again, like yeah, as I said in the previous episode, the scoring of every one of the pieces is insane.
It's perfect.
So good.
It's so good. Yeah, being a song cover artist is not the most difficult thing to do. In terms of, well, it can be the most difficult thing because you can you're comparing yourself to the greats right here. And listen, I have not, like some of my covers, I listen to them back and I'm like, oh man, that exists and I don't need it forever. But that's the name of the game. But what's easy about song covers is that like the draft, the skeleton's already existing. You can kind of take it to wherever you want to take it. And as I previously mentioned, draw a circle around point A. Point A is the sheet music, the MIDI file, the actual notation. Where do I take this? And to me, I felt like with The World and Boy in the Air and Spinning Globe, and further on tracks, like I definitely like play with synthesis a lot. And I like reaching for synthesis. It's fun. It's bizarre. It's weird. It's the electroacoustic musician in me. Let's put it through a modular synth. Let's put it through a sine tone. Why? Why not?
Why not? That's always that's the best answer always.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Why not? But this one, I just decided to, and I'm just gonna put a little bit more volume on this. Yeah, this piano is not even from Omnisphere.
It's on this year?
It's not.
It's not?
This is a piano V2 from Arturia. I'm listening to it.
No way.
It is. That I think this is the American studio preset too, as I'm listening to it right now. This is we're really getting the nerdy stuff here. But
yeah, and the show that definitely is how you use it.
Yes.
Normally, I haven't been able to create a good piano sound from it, and actually I use the Grand Piano Model D from Falcon.
Yeah, that's
because I have never been able to create good sound from Arturia.
I mean, we were talking about before we got on the mic here, but like since Keyscape, I haven't gone back.
Yeah. You have the best.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, Keyscape is it. It doesn't get any more complicated than that. Okay, I want to talk about track. These next two songs hold a really special place in my heart. These next two songs hold a very, very special place in my heart. May I say, these next three songs hold a very special place in my heart. But how would that be possible, Jaian? There's only two songs on the album. Tune in and find out, fellow listener.
Yeah.
This track is Seal, and it is from Zenkyu no Teru, which is one of my favorite animes ever.
I have to check it out then.
Oh my gosh. When I was in Japan, bro, I hunted down like all of the stores and I was like, I need to find the original soundtrack of this. I wasn't able to. Because it came out in 2014. It's the whole thing. Like, people go watch that anime. It's so incredible. Actually, by the time this is out, I booked a ticket And by the time this is out, I already went. But Yoko Kanno, the composer for Cowboy Bebop, Terror in Resonance, like it just says, Zenki no Terror, Space Dandy. I think she did Space Dandy. Don't quote me. Is doing one concert this year, at the age of like nearly 60, if I'm not mistaken, in New York. I booked the ticket. I'm going, and I'm so in awe of her work. Seal is a piece that was really, really simple. It's like almost a loop of a melody, and you just added a little bit of staccato strings. And what really makes the difference, in my opinion, for why I really like this track more than any other cover of Seal I've ever heard, is the ambience that we put in the background. I went on a site that allows you to just record rain noises, and I listened to the piano and string version that we had done at that point, where it was like we fed it through. This one is not Valhalla reverb, by the way. It's whatever reverb you had at your studio. I forget what we used, but it's a different one. It's not Valhalla for sure.
So I was about to ask that. So you remembered we did the rain, but you did the rain sound in my place.
Yeah,
you actually showed me that they had to do that.
I showed you how to do it, and basically you have these EQ bands of the rain, and I was listening to the song, and I was like notching down and boosting up different rain frequencies that changes throughout the piece, but you would never hear it if I didn't tell you this, because of how subtle it is. And it brings this piece to a very relaxing place. And there's, if I'm not mistaken, there's a little bit of ambience used in the Zenki no Terror original soundtrack, but there's even soundtracks like Serial Experiments Lane. I think the ending or the opening, at some point, it's literally just guitar vocals and then just like street ambience. And at some point, the guitar stops and it's just like someone singing, and all you hear is like passing cars. So using ambience, like literal ambience, like literal rain in a song is so cool to me. And it's definitely something a concept I want to reach for more often. What are your thoughts?
Well, exactly what you just said is, I remember I was amazed about the plugin you showed me that they how to create the rain sound. That was like, okay, yeah, that's cool. And from then I just made what a lot of us do when we're trying to create any sound, overlays. I made a lot of overlays of the track, and I wanted to add a little extra layer of
PIDs.
Exactly, and once again we come back to the strings, of course. So yeah, it was like it was like a little bit of an exchange between the strings. So, but violins and double basses, punching, and then I made the cellos playing like a big balloon, as we say in French.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's done really subtly and really well, and it's clear to me that this is an example why there's like a duality in this album, with the strings supporting the piano and sometimes the piano supporting the strings. This is one where the piano is supported by the strings. Exactly. Let me take those like end of phrases and just boom 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 bum. You know what I mean? And just like add a little accent, a little attack, a little snap, a little tack. I'm not gonna freestyle, guys. I'm sorry.
A little friction, because actually what it makes sounds cool is the friction of the bow on the strings.
Bow. Like, absolutely.
That is, it's warm. It's amazing. There is for real. There is nothing that I think many of you could agree that there is nothing that compares the feeling of watching an orchestra live.
No.
If you person listening to this haven't had the opportunity in your life, please do it at least once.
No, absolutely.
It's out of this world.
It is out of this world. I completely agree with you. Okay, Mike.
Yeah.
As I enter this final track with you, this might be a shorter episode, but it's okay. The very first episode of JaianMusic Notes is me talking about what the podcast is going to be. The very second episode of JaianMusic Notes is my very first solo episode, where I review a cover. I reviewed this cover. This was it. This is Sadness and Sorrow, once again from Naruto. Naruto just has a plethora of fantastic soundtracks. I wanted it to be there, and I've literally, there's like a 10-minute podcast of me talking about this cover, and I could go on and on, but I feel like it's a very repetitive thing. So as I reach for this, maybe you can give me your thoughts, and then we'll get into the sauce as to why Sadness and Sorrow from Naruto is 9 minutes long. Why is Sadness and Sorrow 9 minutes long? Talk about how you feel about the cover first.
The first time you showed me that, I remember I remember the exact moment. I was just sitting on my desk enjoying a cup of coffee. And then when I saw the file, I was like, okay, why is this long?
Yeah.
Like, come on, we haven't played. I think the rest of the songs, there isn't anyone that goes over 3-4 minutes. But I was like, okay, we keep the same style. We're still doing soft, piano, vibey, ambient music there.
Yeah.
And then, boom, the bomb arrived.
The bomb arrives on the last key of this. Basically, Sadness and Sorrow, I made it like a fragmented synthesis piano patch. And it's really crystallized in the sense that, like, whenever like it's halftime, and whenever a piano note hit, it crystallizes off all these little fragments, and it's very sparse and sprinkly and metallic, and it gives a modern edge to Sadness and Sorrow, which is like all about anime anthems, like giving it a new flair. Like here's a classic anime piece melody that you love. Here's a new flair. Here's a new taste. Dunking in this taste. And I was like, I want to go somewhere really random. So I took the last note and I time stretched it like 6 minutes long. And I did that like 14 times. I layered it 14 times. And then I sent all 14 of them through different reverbs, different Valhalla presets, and like gave them these very specific frequency cuts. And then I let that echo out. And I was like, what's an anime track that people would just like not expect it to be an anime track? And that is Clair de Lune by Debussy. Clair de Lune by Debussy? That's an anime track? What are you talking about? That clearly came out before the very first anime. What are you talking about? In Neon Genesis Evangelion,
I was about to say that.
Clair de Lune is a track that exists. So it qualifies as an anime music. But no anime music channel that I know of has covered Clair de Lune by Debussy. So this was what I wanted to make it. Something completely unexpected. And I reached for all the electroacoustic concepts that I go for with Chip Machine. Chip Machine is I'm seeing the word Chip Machine right now, and none of these listeners know because I've never talked about Chip Machine yet. Chip Machine is an electroacoustic experimental original music project that I do. I try to release original music on top of the cover song, guys. And I really like it. It's my musical experimental playground. And I wanted to experiment here. And it randomly, but really worked, in my opinion.
It was excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah, I remember like, okay, I'm going to hear a cloud of reverb for the next 8 minutes or something like that.
Guys, I had him meditating in his chair.
Exactly. No, yeah, it was so...
Yeah.
Yeah, soft. And then all of a sudden, I began to listen to Clair de Lune. I was, wait a minute, I know this.
Yeah.
I remember that you do. Why do I know this? And then, yes, of course, the Clair de Lune.
So
I think I asked, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, absolutely, of course. No, you would ask me what's wrong with me in that, and anyone else would.
But of course, in a positive way, it was a totally unexpected idea. Yeah, that blew my mind the first time I asked.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's very, very bizarre. I completely understand like everyone's sentiment and everything, but it's something that I wanted to reach for, and I might do again on another album. But this is really bizarre because if you look at like the album credits, you'll have Toshio Masuda, original composer of Sadness and Sorrow, and then Claude Debussy in composer credits on a song. I don't think that'll ever exist anywhere else on the internet. Like,
probably
I did a collab of Debussy x Toshio Masuda. Like, think about that. Like, let that hit your brain. Debussy x Masuda? What?
It's like, imagine, I don't know, Koji Kondo and Richard Wagner, something like that. So, yeah,
That's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, very happy and really excited that it resonated with a lot of the people out there. Very happy, really happy. Just really happy.
and if you people haven't listened to it yet, please go because
Yeah.
yeah. Well, maybe now that we just explain it, it's gonna. But the pun is kind of sold. So
But here's the thing. This is the cool thing with this podcast. People they'll know we're referring to this album. So they have the option. Let me go listen to the album and then let me go listen to the podcast.
no, that's
Or they've never heard of this album before. They hit play on this podcast right now and they'll go listen to the album with our thoughts in mind. That's why I really wanted you to come on. I was like, yo, it's like a duality thing. Like, it's like, I love it. I love it. All right. What are your closing / final thoughts on this album? And I'll start with that.
it was definitely a totally awesome experience. I have never done something like that before. Because normally it's like, yeah, you create something from zero. This time it was like, hey, I'm gonna
From 50%.
exactly no, but this time it's like I'm gonna take these wonderful pieces of music, and I have to do them to sound like me, like so that was a challenge. Like how do I keep the identity of the original music but printing a little bit of my style?
Yeah.
That was an awesome challenge to do. That made me explore different things, and yeah, besides working with you is awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. Like it stemmed from a friendship that became a musical collaboration and now a podcast guest appearance. X2. 2 for 1.
Well, hoping to come back
Of course.
again here soon.
Anytime. I mean, an episode I do want to do with you is I don't know if you remember, we did another song together, The Sixth Station, where I sent you that piano piece and you added a synth to it and you did something really bizarre with it. I would love to do an episode talking about that, but that's for another day.
Yeah, that's for another project.
With that in mind, Mike, I wanted to ask you, and I'm asking you now on the podcast, will you do another album with me?
Of course.
Yes, let's go.
And that's not what I was thinking of.
Okay, well, that's what I was gonna. Well, maybe keep it for yourself, bro.
No. I was like, did you play it properly, Mike?
No.
That's what I had in my
The
mind.
internet doesn't need to know about that.
And for sure, mate, whenever you want to.
Yeah. So this year, what I want to do, I have, I already dropped one album, this year at the point of this release. I want to drop at least two or three more, and I want one of those to be collaborative. So I think that, I have this other series of albums called Anime Arpeggios, where we just like take pieces and we flip them. Doesn't need to be a ambient thing. Doesn't need to be a thing. We take them and we go crazy with them. We patch them through whatever you want. It's like if Chip Machine was my anime. Chip Machine's experimentalness was applied to an album concept for JaianMusic. That's kind of what it is. So very excited to embark on that adventure with you. A reminder that we're going to start closing it out. So the podcast is sponsored by Leza Audio Technologies. They are available for... No, I'm going to rephrase that. Leza Audio Technologies, they create creative effect plugins, and they're amazing, such as Fram and Glow. If you use code JaianMusic at checkout, you get 25% off, linked in the description. Every dollar from that code goes right back into the podcast, such as GoPro Kyo, who does all of the artwork. Mike, where can people find you? What do you want to promote?
Well, any big social media, I mean, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky. It's the same at Mike HG Music.
Amazing.
One word, everything in a single word. And yeah, normally what you're gonna find there is mainly bass covers, because as I said at the beginning, I
feel like
I'm a
we
bassist.
talked about it a little bit, but you're quite the bassist.
Well, I do my best.
You're a very talented bassist. Very talented bassist.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Totemo sugoi. I said very impressive. Sorry, gotta drop a little bit of Japanese, a little bit of Japanese here and there. Okay, amazing. You can follow the podcast at JaianMusic Notes on your favorite podcatcher. Leave us a 5-star review. A big thank you to everyone listening. As we were recording this, the podcast recently charted on Apple Podcasts in the Philippines for music commentary.
Ooh.
It's very grateful for that. Like, this podcast has not been going on for like less than half a year, and I'm already like doing stuff like that. That's awesome. Very grateful. And you can follow me at JaianMusic on social media. My website is JaianMusic.com. So for myself and Mike HG Music, this has been another episode of JaianMusic Notes. Arrivederci.
Ciao.